What's up, DanceFam? We are back again with another episode of The Session. I'm going to be reviewing the final episode of World of Dance Season 3 in terms of qualifiers.
All right.
We're done with qualifiers.
Woo!
Thank God. This season's went by fast because there have been double episodes pretty much.
I know.
2 hours each.
Good gosh.
Not sure if they're going to keep going with the 2 hours. I haven't really looked into that. I hope not.
I hope it's like under an hour.
I mean, I can do it an hour.
Yeah, an hour, but not 2 hours.
Of duels? 2 hours duels? Maybe not.
That's like a whole lot of jam.
Exactly. As always, I'm your host, Russ Santos, a.k.a. Lock and Robin. And with me, as always, Eser Valencia. What's happening? Sup.
I'm good.
It's good.
Been a hectic week.
Yep.
Just getting over a sickness, too.
Okay.
Caught a bug.
Did you squash it?
I think. Somewhere.
Perfect. Perfect. Let's see. So, in case you haven't noticed, we've only had just us two on the show so far.
Really?
For this season. Just for this season of World of Dance up until now. Only because since they are double episodes, we didn't want to have a third on here just yet or a third or a fourth on here just yet, just to keep the discussion a little shorter.
Yeah.
Because otherwise this would be a little longer, over an hour long. So
lots of teams.
So we kept it just the two of us for now. But starting next week, since we are getting to duels, and then depending on how many or how long each episode is,
right,
we will have someone on every week. Someone new. Maybe. You'll have to come back and see.
Question mark.
But let's just jump into it. Last round of qualifiers.
Woo!
Let's see. First up, MKAM. MKAM. MKAM.
MKAM.
Group of high schoolers from California. Hip hoppers. They hippin' to happen.
They hippin' to hoppin'.
I'll start this one.
Okay.
I mean, so just from their their outfits, I assumed they were going to be doing a Joker thing because they were wearing purple jackets.
Yeah, it didn't
green hair.
I know. I didn't catch on to it real fast.
It wasn't until they start holding their mouths and you can see the tattoo of a mouth on, or a face on their hands.
True.
That I was like, yeah, I guess they're doing that. Doesn't really need a theme because it was just straight dancing again. Without really telling a story per se. So I thought they were clean, but sometimes when they were getting off the floor, they wouldn't do it all at the same time, or it didn't look like it was in unison at least. So that part kind of looked jumbled for me. And it wasn't as intricate as I would want it to be. That topped with it being just relatively short, and that could be just because of the editing. I just thought it was a little short. That, I was okay with it, but I wasn't really impressed.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Same, but I thought it was a kind of a plain set for what it was. Very, very talented group of boys, like it's a high school level, like competitive dance team.
Mm-hmm.
They even mentioned like everybody does sports, we do dancing. So yeah, again, I wasn't sure if it was the editing that was done that made it cut short. It was really like I just thought something was missing in their set. It could have been the editing, but also at the same time, I was thinking there's just something, like the BAM in there, like the flavor, like just something should have picked up in the middle of the set just to take it over the top.
Yeah, I agree.
Something was missing for me over there. Very genuine characters, like they were just talking about themselves overall, but at the same time, like, like if you're gonna be dancing this sort of set or like with the music they were giving, it's like I need you to give me more personality. I need more character in there.
Yeah,
especially if you're promoting like some sort of Joker theme. Like it didn't really need to be there if you guys weren't really gonna push for it. Just
laughing every once in a while and covering your face like Joker.
Right.
That's not enough to
wasn't
justify a Joker theme.
It seriously wasn't enough for me. And the ending, like I said, going from how it was cut short, it just left me wanting a little more.
It needed something.
It just did. It just left me hanging.
Yeah.
In the worst way.
Also, I noticed, nothing to do with their set actually, but I noticed on this episode that they started showing the song titles that they were dancing to.
I did. Yeah, I caught that.
I was like, Oh, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to get that song.
Right.
But anyway, I give them an 83. It wasn't enough for them to go through for me, in my opinion.
I was close. I gave it an 84.
Not close enough.
Not close enough.
They actually got an 89.7. Derek gave him a 92.
Yeah, Derek gave him a 92. Like, what was he
I
seeing?
have no idea. I didn't think it was good enough. Especially if you think of groups like The Lab.
Yeah,
Who are younger.
I was thinking back at the lab and like they're the same age group. I'm just like,
Although at the same time, they do have choreographers. MKAM may not have, since they're a high school team.
Okay,
Yeah.
perhaps.
But regardless, it just wasn't up to like that level.
Yeah. So before we move on to like the next group, I was just like really, I don't know. For some reason, I was upset. Like, okay, they introduced the show and everything, and then all of a sudden they introduced this first team MKAM, cut to a commercial. I was like,
Yeah.
who does this editing?
I mean, they showed Scott Evans, the host, and he's not on the show.
I don't know. That's just me personally. That's my peeve. I'm like, don't just stop it there.
Yeah, this show doesn't have the best editing.
Anyway, sorry. That's just a small thing for me, but
That's fine. Let's move on.
Yeah,
I mean, we could complain all
yeah,
want,
we
but-
could. We definitely could. But we're
Moving
not going
on to Denise and Josh, a contemporary duo from Toronto.
to. Yeah.
Good. You can start this one.
Wow. They're really good. I was immediately engaged with their set. Like I was really trying not to miss a thing as I was typing and watching at the same time. Lots of typos before I edited my notes here. So,
Sure.
for some parts of their set, it was I don't know, a little rough. And it was not matching in my mind with like what I was expecting to see, like, you know, a little too harsh for the song, you know, like little, you know, like too sharp, too hard kind of movements, what it was calling for. But the moments that they did take, it was good for what it was. It was good what was being called for.
Sure.
And I really appreciated that type of crescendo they were building from the beginning of their set to the end to just finish very, very strong.
Okay. Starting with the things I liked, there was a lot of threading. So that's not actually something I like. I just noticed that they did a lot of threading per se. But their storytelling was good. And they did show a good amount of athleticism.
For sure.
In terms of what they can do with each other. But one thing I didn't like, and you may not have felt the same way, but for some reason I felt like their chemistry was off. Like it didn't look
You think so?
genuine enough for me.
Huh?
It looked a lot like acting. I mean, you could tell like it just looked like acting. And then Neo happened to like or said that, you know, the emotion did look real to him. And, you know, and maybe it did. But for me, for some reason, it kind of just felt off. And I'm not sure if it's just because it was ungenuine or if it was just a little over the top acting kind of thing. But I don't know. Just seemed a little weird for me.
Okay, well.
I give him an 85, so just enough to get through.
I gave them a 90.
Okay. You were closer to what they actually got, which was 91 overall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they'll be moving on.
Moving on up.
Let's move on to main guys.
The main guys.
Not the side guys.
Not the five guys.
The main guys.
The main guys.
Not the Vermont guys. The main guys. Oh,
all
boy.
right then.
Hip hop group from Norway. I really liked them.
I did too. You know.
But before they actually went on, they montaged a bunch of groups again.
Yeah.
While during their thing, so they showed them watching the montage
Watching them
groups.
the montage groups. You know, the ones that weren't gonna make it.
And you can tell like that's edited.
Oh yeah.
So I wonder if they were even watching that group in particular. You know what I mean?
That's very true. But I mean, you could even tell also by the reaction after they watch it.
That means nothing. That could have been anybody that they were watching for all.
All right.
So right off the bat, like they have very unique movements that it's just, you know, something you need to do if you want to stand out in the world of dance. You know, you can't be a hip hop group or you can't be a dancer in general and just do the same things that everyone else is doing.
Oh, for sure.
It's fine, but you know, you're supposed to bring your own flair and your own personality and try and build upon it and create something new here. So I thought they were able to do it well. They had unique movements. Their transitions and formations are great. Only 5 of them, I think, right?
Yeah, there were 5 guys.
Only 5 guys.
5 main guys.
5.
Sorry, go on.
There were only 5 of them, so that's hard to do, to maintain, to be able to put on good transitions and formations, because you're limited to what you can do with only 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
But they did it well. They were really chill, but still intense and intricate.
Oh, yeah.
So I loved it. They have grooves while still being able to hit the sharpness of everything. And the whole change of rhythms within their set, the good dynamics from start to finish. It was just really on point for me. How about you?
Well, the first thing I thought, well, like in the very beginning move set that they were doing, that
Yeah.
wave,
Uh-huh.
I was like, man, these are the Gumby boys too.
Oh my gosh.
They're just Gumbying. And for sure, like when you think Norway, you were not expecting, like, you know, people of color.
True.
Immediately you just think like, oh, it's the blonde guy with the blue hair.
Mm-hmm.
But no, these are all like
The blue hair.
blonde guy with blue eyes. Sorry.
Nice.
I think I was watching Dragon Ball Super
There
or
you go.
something.
The blonde guy who turned into blue hair. I like it.
But anyways, it was just really nice to see, because, like, you know, we tend to forget, like, and just have that stereotype about, like, our own personal stereotypes of, like, oh, well, if you come from this country, yeah, you're looking like this sort of way. But no, everybody's from everywhere, so just have to keep watch of that. These guys were very engaging to watch. I really loved their originality of style.
Me too.
You know, and it was just such a great quality of movement. Their whole set was just filled with quality movement, and I really enjoyed that. And they were very comfortable on stage, just using all what they had, especially. But yeah, I tried to nitpick at them, but I was like, I just like these guys. I just really did.
I sense a high score coming from you. I give them a 91.
I gave them a 90.
Oh, I was higher.
You
here.
were higher.
Jeez. Oh, something's going on here. They actually got an 89.7, so they will be going through, which I'm excited about. They're one of my favorites for this season so far.
Right.
Well, I guess they're one of my favorites now that we know who's going through.
True.
Next up, Kozmic Edge from New Jersey, a bunch of hip hop kids, with Victoria Caban from last season, who was a flamenco dancer. She's back doing something that she was not doing before, I guess, and it kind of shows a little bit that this isn't her strength. But I will let you start this one off.
Yeah, it was a good effort. I'll start with that, you know, and it was very off on timing at certain points of their set, and intensity was not where it was right off the bat. Like, it looked like they were still struggling to find that, you know, that togetherness and just dance together and be intense about it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just the commitment to it, as well as, like, I feel like they haven't danced together for some time. Like, I feel like they just put it together.
Yeah,
like,
maybe it wasn't that long ago that season 2 was.
Yeah, a week ago. And yeah, it just was a set that wasn't very memorable. You know, like how some sets, when you finish watching them, it's like, there's going to be something to be talked about, like maybe another week or two, or maybe another month, possibly like in future generations, depending how. But like, I know this is just like a 2-minute set for like this show, but like, it just didn't stand out for me.
That's fair.
It didn't.
That is completely fair. I pretty much agree. There was a bit of tutting in there, which was a little messy.
I didn't catch that, actually.
Yeah, there was some tutting in there. It wasn't good. Well, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. It was kind of messy. It's hard to be really good at tutting because you do need those right angles.
Oh yeah.
And they need to be sharp at that point. Whenever they were trying to put on or show levels, it wasn't clear enough and it's tougher for shorter people, and they're all relatively short. But you know, it's not impossible for a short person to do it. I mean, just again, like go back, look at the lab again. We have very small kids, and they're able to put on, you know, a very high level and a very low level. The tricks were off, like you mentioned, the timing, and you know, that's about it. That's all I can say.
Fair.
I gave them an 82, so not enough to get through.
I gave them an 81.
Okay. And they actually got an 83 all around there.
Yeah.
So not going through. We won't be seeing Victoria Caban again, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
She should maybe stick to
flamenco.
flamenco because she was great at that.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Unity LA. One of my favorites from the night.
Yeah, for sure. That this has been definitely one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, so they're a contemporary group from LA, headed or led by Ashley and Zach from season 2. For some reason, I guess they saved all the returnees for this episode.
Yeah, for this episode.
So right off the bat, I thought that their formation and their transitions were phenomenal. Musicality was on point. Great visuals. They were clean. The pace was always changing, not a constant thing, so it's not one note at that point. And, I said this about Ashley and Zach last season. I think I said all of that for them last season. But more importantly, what I thought they were really good at was storytelling. And the story here was fantastic. Well, I liked the storytelling here because for me, they looked like they were embodying an orchestra who was playing another story, if that makes any sense. And then I will stop there. There are a couple of things I want to say, but that doesn't have a whole lot to do with their set. What do you think?
Yeah, like right from their costumes that they were presenting, I was just like, oh, it's gonna be a good show.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then they proved it, and I was just like thinking in my mind, I wrote my note here. It's just like I'm getting this Game of Thrones vibe for some reason.
Fair.
But like now that I'm recalling it, I'm just like, they are the music that was just moving the show. It's just like, this is how it would be pictured, like the formations and just like how things were just moving and the fluidity of it. It was just amazing quality.
Yeah.
And I appreciated it. It was just like
100%.
Yeah. Such a strong group. Like, I don't know where they found everybody. It's just like, it's them two times more.
I know.
It's just like, great. I want to see more.
I do too. They were awesome. So nitpicking here, I think it was Derek who said this, that they were dancing to like the vocals and violins, and he was like, yeah, there were vocals and violin, and that's it. And I was like, no, there's actually like a cello in there too. There was more. There was just more vocal
instruments. Yeah.
So I was like, no, you're wrong. But I get what he was saying.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna need Neo to stop doing the wave to demonstrate something. Like, it's like, oh yeah, when you gotta do the whatever. It's like, that's like the one thing you can do. Can you stop doing that? And
grinds my gears.
It's kind of annoying. Like, well, anyway, that's just me. Yeah. I gave him a 96.
Dang, I gave him a 91.
Yeah, they were good. Man, they were really good. I really like what they did. They actually got a 95.3, so they'll be going on.
Yes, sir.
And they are a strong competitor.
Very much so.
Next up was like a girl and guy group, young kid talking to each other kind of thing, who were flirting with each other.
Oh yeah, much. It was the groups. I was like, wait, what am I looking at right now? Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, so this tripped me up. So they introduced Intention first, but then actually Battle Droids crew actually went before them. So we'll start with Battle Droids crew since they performed first.
Yeah.
Awesome name, first of all.
I know. I was just like, okay, let's go, kids.
That's the best name. Belgium. They're from Belgium, and they're B-boys. They were watching a montage group.
Yeah.
Or groups.
Yeah, several of them.
Yeah. And actually, you can start them.
Yeah. I was very worried about their beginning. Like immediately, it was just like, ooh. They dropped somebody, and there was just somebody that got stuck.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is professionalism at its best, and like they recovered. Yeah. They kept moving, and it was just great to watch the rest of their set. Some cleanliness issues that I caught, like they were, other than like them dropping their guy in the beginning, but like some parts is just like maybe slight timing on like foot placement or just like arms, and something that just like. You can tell like something's off. They definitely are a great set of B-boys, but still has a lot more training needed, just to be able to perfect what they're presenting as well. I really, really liked how they were paying homage to like the jumpsuits
Yeah.
and embodying like the real b-boy mindset with just even those jumpsuits that they had like representing from like back in the 80s and 70s. You know, it's like, all right, respect. They got the real like costumes in there just to embody that thing going on. And then I don't know, again with the costuming for that one guy in I don't know what the name of the getup was for martial artists, but the proper name for it,
like the gi.
the gi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't think he was wearing that. I thought he would look like he was wearing like a lab coat or something. Like,
no, it looked like
like Doc Brown.
no, for me he looked like he was wearing a gi.
No, because he had like, yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, but I thought it was out of place.
Yeah,
some
I agree.
reason.
I agree 100% with that.
But
Thought that was a little weird.
yeah, but overall I like them. They're a really good group of b-boys.
It's good. I wanted to like them, like I really did, because they're young and they're talented, especially the ones doing all the power moves.
Yeah.
But just to add on and not to repeat anything that you said, I did like their transitions overall, because especially when it came to power moves, because typically it's hard to do that, but they were able, because to getting out of a power move can be sloppy if you're not on point.
Yeah.
But they were able to shift focus to like another thing at that point, so that that transition was pretty much seamless. I also appreciated this one part where they did a bunch of 3 steps. So not the 6 steps, so like the 3 steps in unison. They all did it.
Yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah, and like I liked it because it was in unison and they did it all together. And I feel like when it comes to b-boying and putting on a set like this, I feel like you need to do that a little more, just to show that everybody can b-boy at that point.
Yeah.
And have a good sense of the difficulty or the intricacy that there is when it comes to these b-boy moves. But one negative to add on to yours, I just felt like overall it was stiff.
Okay.
Like they did do a bunch of top rock, but it just seemed way too stiff. Like there was no rock in that. And when it comes to b-boying, there's like it's whole body movement at that point.
For sure.
So I actually didn't have them. I didn't have them going through in my book. I gave them an 82.
I gave them an 86.
Okay, so not completely high.
Yeah.
They actually got an 87.
Yeah, they're right there.
Yeah. I hope they do better. Actually.
Yeah, I want them to improve.
Yeah. Faux show.
I mean, it's the duel, so we'll see what they really got.
And then maybe they might be dueling intention. Their girlfriends.
Yeah, their girlfriends from Oklahoma.
Yeah, contemporary group of all girls.
Yeah.
I thought for them, I thought that they had, well, I also wanted to like them. They had some solid ripples at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it felt whimsical. But the thing about this song is that it's one tone.
It was.
It's the song Piano Man is just monotonous. But the things that do change, that give it a little more characters, is what's his name? Who sings it?
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel, thank you. I was thinking Elton John. That's Rocket Man. Piano. Billy Joel, and the way he sings it and eventually builds up upon things.
Yeah.
But, to do a whole dance to the song, it's difficult because you only emanate one note. And don't get me wrong, what they did go well with it.
Yeah.
It's just, it was a little monotonous for me. What do you think?
Okay, that's a fair viewpoint. At the same time, I thought they did well with even just like that one stream of music happening in the silver lining there.
Sure.
So for me, it was a very fun set to watch, but I also could see like it could have gone very boring also. Like they were just riding that line as well. So I mean, I do enjoy that song as well, but good thing they were just very careful with that too. So good storytelling, and they're very committed to their craft of dance, so they know what they're doing. I did catch a lot of levels, so it was just nice to see that, because lately not a lot of performers or teams have been using everything they've got. Levels are very nice dynamic to also catch as well. The simplicity of their dance also is not bad. Sometimes keeping it simple, especially with their numbers, is good. So, but hopefully when they if they move further, like they gotta make it a little more intricate.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough for me. I also gave them an 82.
I gave them an 88.
Okay, you scored them higher than the B-boys. They actually got an 87.7, so you're pretty much spot on with them.
Yeah.
They'll be going through again. I hope they improve again as well.
Yeah, they're gonna have some
they'll need to
good hangout times with their with each other, with their boyfriends from Belgium.
All right, moving on to Derek Piquette from Massachusetts, a contemporary dancer.
Oh man,
he was great.
Oh man,
he reminded me of
Debesky?
Yeah, thank you. I was like, what do we call him? Michael Demetsky, aka Michael Debesky. Very similar in not necessarily in movement, but in the effortlessness and strength.
Oh my gosh,
that they both have. So Derek, for me, showed a lot of strength and effortlessness right from the get-go. And then at the end, like, he just kept, pounding it and just,
he was going,
okay, I'm going to flip here and do whatever. And it's just so much strength in that. His musicality is on point, and I thought he embodied that particular song very well. What do you think?
Yes, to all of that. I mean, just like him just giving it his all right then and there, leaving it on the floor. Like I understood him because like he gave his backstory, like why he was doing this. Like he needs both of his hips replaced. Like you're gonna give it all. Like if you're not gonna move on, you just might as well just give it all right then and there. Like I respect that guy.
Sure.
Like yeah, he had the same energy and intensity that was very reminiscent of Debesky. Yeah. So just like, man, I kind of want to see a duel between those two now. but I don't
think you're gonna get it.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, he was literally living his life there and just fighting for it. Like he wants it.
Yeah.
And that's very nice to see. Like, especially if you're going for $1 million. Like,
sure.
I haven't seen this sort of attitude from any performers yet. Like his level of commitment to just going for it was right there, and like that's the standard everybody else needs to like go up for,
Yeah. And I've been starting to skip the stories just so I could see them based on their based on their dancing. So when he mentioned that afterwards, that he's getting his hips replaced, I was like, dang.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
He was very awesome.
That's terrible. Like, that's really unfortunate.
So unfortunate.
But I gave him a 90.
Me too.
Nice.
Gong.
Oh my gosh. He got a 91.3, so he's definitely going through.
Yeah.
And we will be seeing him.
Yes, we will.
All right, moving on to Audrey and Mia. A couple of crumpers. One's from Chicago and one's from Seattle. So when they started, I felt like it was more of a crump fusion than it was actually crump. In fact, I would just even call it hip hop with a bunch of some crump moves in there. At which point, it's not really hip hop either. So it's urban dancing, right? You can speak on that in a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold my tongue right now.
I don't know. It didn't really look. It wasn't what I was expecting, especially when B-Dash and Concrete are on and they're true crumpers. They might have had a couple of noticeable crump moves and antics.
Yeah.
But they were together, and that's apparently the only positive thing I had to say. And it was a little short. I'm not sure if it was editing or not, but it just seemed short. What'd you think?
Probably the best thing about what they did was just like their outfits and then going into their set. I was like, okay, the misdirection. I always love the misdirection, like getting tricked like that. Good. I just didn't really catch crumping in their set.
Yeah. It's fair. I was looking for it. Yeah.
Like, or maybe I'm just not super familiar with like.
That's fair.
Because I've never trained in crump. I have had some experience with it, but not complete like knowledge. Maybe that's just it. But at the same time, like I was looking for it. It didn't show for me.
Yeah.
And it was getting more to like just regular urban dancing.
Yeah.
And if it was something that they were aiming for to crump, I would suggest that they need to study harder.
Sure.
Yeah, and pretty much intent and intensity was not to level that I expected.
What'd you give them?
I gave them an 82.
84. So not enough to get through for us.
Yeah.
But good enough for them.
Good enough for them.
They got an 86.3.
Yeah.
I hope they show more crump later.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's move on to House of Tap. A couple of tap dancers from California, different parts of California.
Tappa.
Right from the get, I don't have that many notes for them because all they said was they had a very interesting song choice. It's not typically something you would tap dance to.
It wasn't.
And then, which is fine. Like, I'm all for, changing it up. But occasionally, the rhythm of their tap contrasted or conflicted with the actual song. So it didn't seem like it fit with it. And, and that's, musically. What'd you think? That's literally all I had for them.
Agreed. With the muffling, like it was hard to listen to the actual taps.
Mm-hmm.
They did exude character. Like I liked it for that
sure.
much. Like being a tap dancer, you're gonna have to show showman as well as personality and character.
Yeah.
So it was very present. I was just like, oh, they're just having the time of their life on there. And then the song was just like, okay, very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess that was just the base of what I have here too. And I don't know, it was just something to really see how else they do in the future.
Yeah. I think it's the song choice that killed them.
Yeah.
If they had a better song that showcased them a little better.
Uh-huh.
And that's pretty much what Neo and Derek were saying. Like they wanted something else.
Yeah.
When it comes to tap.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I give them an 81.
Well, I scored them a little higher. I gave them an 88.
Okay. Wow. Okay, interesting. That's very
Yeah.
interesting. They actually got an 85.7, so they barely made it through there.
Yeah.
But they will be going through to the next
episode
thing, duels.
Yeah, duels.
Next event. No. Anyway, moving on to DD Flection, the World of Dance Thailand winners.
Yeah.
So they're from Thailand, and they are a contemporary duo here. What did you think, my man?
They were very excellent in what I saw. That chemistry was really there. And like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can tell they trust each other. Like they know what they're doing and they know what's at stake here.
Oh, yeah.
So they gave it everything they got. So much creativity going on. And I enjoyed it. Like what was it? The totem?
Mm-hmm. The backwards totem.
The backwards totem. Wow. I don't know.
You couldn't pay me enough to be standing on there and then jump off. You know how much damage my knees would take?
I would lie there. Like, nope, this is done. But no, well done for these two. Like, It was just so good. And they're very well trained.
Yes.
The effortlessness was just on par with what I was expecting as well. Like, when they said immediately, like, oh, we won Thailand World of Dance, like, oh, they're going to bring it. I hope they bring it. They know what to expect now.
And they did.
They sure did.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. Only a couple things I want to add in terms of, a few things I want to add in terms of positives, and one small nitpick. But first of all, the handling of the woman was flawless. Like he was,
my goodness,
pythoning her around all around the stage for that matter.
Holy crap!
And with ease.
Yeah.
The visuals that they created was phenomenal. Went really well with the song. And their movements overall for contemporary was unique. And like that's saying something. It's hard to be unique, especially when it comes to contemporary. You feel like you've seen it all, right? But they found a way to move differently. And they're from Thailand. That's what you want to see, something different. Something from them or even their area that you can bring. One small nitpick is that at the end, the very last move, he barely caught her. Like I think he spun around and then like he was jumped to like catch her. And that hand, I don't think that's where he was supposed to hold on to her.
Right.
But he still did it. So props to him. Just a small nitpick there. I give him a 95.
Gave them a 91.
You were closer to the judges. Well, Derek gave him a 91. JLo gave him a 95, and I hate agreeing with JLo. So they got a 92 overall, and they will be going through.
Yes, they
another
will be.
one of my favorites there.
And another one.
And our Nerderwern. Moving on to getting down to our last two groups here.
Oh, yes, we are.
Yeah.
Look at that.
We were flying through this, Eser. Was that you flying?
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you imagine me flying?
No. Well. Anyway. Style and Grace, a hip-hop group from Vancouver. Bunch of females here. So more power to them.
Yeah.
Just want to say, Eser, you can kick this off, but just want to say that they were watching a montage group, or a bunch of groups, during their set. Or not during the set, before they went on. And that's all. I hate montages. Anyway.
Yeah, it was a nice segment that they were just promoting that female support and empowerment with one another.
True. Yeah.
So it was really great to see, because like it was just like back-to-back female groups that they put together. I guess the editing, that's what they wanted to do. But it was great. You know, like I love seeing that, and it's always nice to see like an all-female group as well.
Yeah.
Like just see what they can offer on the table. And again, in the beginning, they had to recover. One of their dancers fell back, but then got right back up and just gave it 100%.
Yeah.
So good for that. They understand professionalism, and they just kept going. But again, like this is another group I was just waiting for them to take it over the top.
Yeah.
There's just something missing there again.
Yep. Completely agree.
Yeah.
I wrote one thing for them. I didn't feel one way or another with this group.
Okay.
Like I didn't like them, but I didn't hate them.
Yeah.
They were just
there.
Exactly. And because of that, and like that's, I don't know what else to say about that.
I know.
It just,
I understand.
It's exactly what you said though. Like I was just waiting for something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't all there. And you know, it was a little not as intricate as you would want it.
Yeah.
Not as complicated either. Well, you know, and that's all relative. Everyone on this show in their own right is a great dancer, and what they do is fantastic. So, but you know, all relative to that, it just wasn't as competitive enough.
Yeah, compared to what we've seen so far.
Exactly.
You know.
So I gave them an 81.
I gave them an 86.
Okay, so you put them through. I didn't. They actually got an 85, so they barely made it.
They were right there.
Yeah, barely made it. I hope they are able to show something else.
Take the notes.
Down to our last group. We're really flying here.
We have gotten to the last group of the qualifiers.
We did it. Radiance. A kind of, I like them. They're a contemporary group from LA. I think, all female here. Eser, why don't you take this one?
They've never been together before as a team, but they have danced together in LA in classes and whatnot. This is just what they're saying. So I was just right from those notes, I was like, okay, this could go one of two ways. Because like when you form a new group or team, especially for this level of competition, it's a real gamble. Yeah. Like the trust and the understanding of like team, especially like not knowing each other for that long, that's just like, I don't know, that is a little unfathomable to me, because sometimes like you really need to understand that the dynamic of being on a team and building up to a competition, especially you haven't been together that long, but like maybe less than 6 months, that's a real risk.
Sure.
And I guess this worked out for them because they did pretty good, you know, like but also like there's definitely like, I don't know, I just didn't feel connected with them as well. They were synchronized and had very clean lines.
Yes.
And then that one line across the stage, that was well done, because, you know, those lines across stage sometimes can get really messy.
Yeah, and the ripple, right?
Yeah, the ripples. So great aesthetics. Like I was just very, you know, I was there watching them and just enjoying and entertain like what they were offering, you know. But at the same time, like, you know, I was a little torn as like, are the costumes helping with the if there was a story, you know, like sometimes they're just throwing stuff in there just for the sake of like, oh, this is what we can exhibit as what we can do and what are we capable of. So I just question a lot of things and their choices in their set.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'll just go off of you. For the outfits, I love their outfits. I thought it was really cool. It reminded me of Princess Jasmine for some reason.
Okay.
They had like slits in their pants.
Yeah.
So you could see their legs still, but you still kind of like had a parachute effect with their pants.
True.
It was cool. I just thought they looked awesome. And then the Ripple, 100% agree. Like they nailed it and it was perfect because they started on a beat and ended on a beat, and there are like what 15 of them ish.
Yeah, ish.
So it's hard to ripple from one to another with that many people, and especially if it's an odd number and still end on a beat there. So props to them with that. I thought they were clean. I thought they were clean. They made really good use of the stage.
Yeah.
I think the only group that did this in this episode, at least, that really made use of the entire stage.
Yeah, for sure.
And for me, I like them because they also, I mentioned this I think in the last episode, but they also look like a portrait in motion, like a piece of art that just kept moving and just speaking to you. Overall, I did like there was a good buildup of intensity and just dynamics in general. So that was awesome. So JLo mentioned like she didn't like it because there was no story or everything needs to have an intention or whatever. And she was like, the lifts didn't add to it. It needs to mean something. Like I know what she's saying, but I don't agree with her with what she's saying here. Cause I thought the lifts did add to it in the general scheme of it. You have to like look at it as a whole, like the journey it brought you on as a whole, in my opinion. It made us move and it made our focus change to that, especially while there was, a buildup of low levels up into the high. So that's my opinion. Personally, I love stories, like me.
Yeah.
I love telling stories with dance. But the best dancers like invoke music rather than tell a story.
Yeah.
If there's a story there, then
absolutely,
sure, fantastic. But it's about invoking the song, the music, or even the silence in between it. So not necessarily a story. I wrote down that art isn't story. Story is art, though. So like not necessarily like something could just
just be for what it is.
And like if say like a painter painted something that ends up meaning something to someone else, and you ask that painter what did it mean for you? It's like I don't know. This is what I painted, something like that, and this is what spoke out to him at the moment. Could have meant nothing. But that was my gripe with JLo during this.
No,
part.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's why I was just getting back to like questioning it, but at the same time I was leaning more towards like it's their own art.
Yeah.
Like that's what I respect more rather than like storytelling is just maybe more of the blanket effect, blanketing thing over the whole set. But like I appreciate what they're showing rather than like, oh, we have to make sure it all integrates together as like, oh, this is what it means.
Yeah.
But
because even Derek says like when you look at like jive or other ballroom dances or even tap, like there's really no story there per se. It's about showcasing something and then invoking whatever song or music or whatever. But JLo will be JLo. There you go.
Yeah.
I give him a 90.
Gave them an 88.
Okay, so close, and you were right on there.
On the average.
On the average, yeah. I agreed with Derek here. We also gave him a 90. So they'll be going through. I'm excited to see more of them. Hopefully they can do better for JLo, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's the end of qualifiers. That's
Woo!
What do you think, man? What are you thinking with this season so far?
It might be a lot better than the last season.
You think so?
Because I mean, they definitely filtered out because of the newer scores.
Sure.
Like the newer score, benchmark that they need to pass. So I think a lot of good groups are in here, but definitely there's those that'll just easily fall off.
Yeah.
But unless like we see major improvement in the following weeks, it could be surprising. So it's always a wild card.
Sure.
Yeah.
One thing I'm sad about this season is that there aren't any lockers.
Yeah.
Or anyone that attempts to do locking.
We have poppers.
Popping lockers, for sure.
Please don't say that.
Oh boy.
Please don't
But
say that.
Oh boy.
Please don't
But
say
another season done here.
Yeah.
Well, not done. No, not the season.
No, we are done. We'll see you next time.
Another set of qualifiers for this season is done, and we're done with the qualifiers. So
Yes,
next
sir.
week,
Yeah.
I think, or next episode, whenever that
Next
may be,
episode.
will be about the duels. And for those listening on podcast or even watching us on YouTube, we will have a guest on every day, or not every day, every episode now.
Every day.
Yeah. Every episode now. So, depending on how long the episode is, of Roll the Dance, that is. Because if we have someone on, we'll be talking for a long time. And we don't want to bore you. So
Unless you really want us to hear us talk.
yeah. So, Eser, you'll be here, I'm assuming, next week.
Yeah.
Or whenever the next one is.
Yeah, whenever the next episode is.
Sounds good. Thank you for stopping by, man, and talking to me, talking with me, talking
Always.
to me.
Always. I'll talk to you anytime.
Fantastic. Eser Valencia, where can people find you, man?
You guys can find me on Facebook, and you guys can find me on Instagram at ValCirca.
Do it, guys. Do it. And I am Russ Santos, as always, a.k.a. Lock and Robin. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lock and Robin. You can even... Yeah, that's about it, actually. Yeah. But do subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you would rather take us on the road with you, then subscribe to us on podcasts. Spotify is the easiest, but we are also on iTunes, Apple, and Google, and probably all the other good stuff out there. So wherever you want to listen to a podcast, do it and follow us. But if you want to see a lot of other stuff, go to our site, dancefamtv, and mention us and mention the session, hashtag the session. We will see you next time, guys, in the duels of World of Dance Season 3. Peace out.
Later.